I want to start off this PowerPoint presentation with a really quick thank you to Dr. Csikszentmihalyi for taking the time to watch this video. I'm Brett Williams. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, and I'm going to show you a little bit about Flow 2.0. It's a new way of understanding flow. It's a new way of applying flow. And my hope is it's a new way to use flow in a clinical setting. The presentation's about 20 minutes, which will include a 3-minute demo at the end, so you can kind of experience what it is I'm trying to create with flow. Thank you very much for watching this presentation. I hope you enjoy it. Flow 2.0, a positive psychology. This PowerPoint presentation on flow starts off with answering some really basic questions, like, what are emotions? It seems a fundamental question, but one that I'm not sure has been really adequately answered, and is totally and completely relevant to understanding what flow is. Presently, we have two basic understandings of emotion. One is linked to perceptions. It's a cognitive kind of process of understanding emotions. And the other one's linked to neurotransmitters, or the biological process of understanding emotions. And what I want to suggest is that these two are not descriptions of emotions. They're descriptions of how emotions are formed. Thoughts are not feelings, but they stimulate feelings. And in the same way, neurotransmitters aren't directly related to or connected to emotions. Neurotransmitters stimulate emotions. So what are emotions? Let's look at it from a kind of an experiential point of view. I want to suggest that emotions are really experienced as energy. When we feel any feeling, happy, mad, glad, sad, what we're really feeling inside is an energy. And we've learned to understand that energy as emotion. When I'm mad, I feel a particular energy. Or when I'm happy, I feel a particular energy. And those different experiences of energy inside are given names. And we call them our emotions. So let me see if I can demonstrate it a little bit for you. I'll draw a person. And in this person, they have low energy. And then I'll query my clients or subjects and say, hey, what emotion do you think this person is feeling? And again, all they have is the information that they have low energy. Typically, the answer comes back, low energy, and we're feeling down or sad or depressed. So then I'll draw another person. I'll say, okay, typically, here's a person with high energy. What do you think? What do you think this person's feeling? And the answer frequently comes back, high energy, we're feeling up, positive, excited, happy. Well, up and down are common words that I hear in people's descriptions, but up and down are not emotions. Up and down are directions. And so what I think is happening here is that we already have an intuitive connection between our emotions and energy. And when I'm saying I'm feeling down, what I really mean to be saying is my energy is down, and I'm connecting energy with emotion. Or if I'm up, the same thing is true. But I also believe that energy has a direction to it. Not only is it high or low, and that kind of creates the emotional quality, but also the direction of that energy. If the energy is inside, collapsed, or outside and flowing, changes the quality. So let's go back to our example of our high energy person. Well, what if I said to you, that person has high energy, but this time I said that the high energy, its direction is different. Its direction is flowing inward. What would you say that they're feeling now? And typically, again, the response I get is angry or anxious. Okay, well, what if we took that low energy person and said, okay, they have low energy, but that low energy is flowing outside. Kind of like if you were sitting and watching the sunset or listening to some beautiful music. What emotion would you be feeling then? And again, the answer comes back, calm or peaceful, relaxed. And so what we're starting to see is that there's a pattern there's patterns to our energy flow. And these patterns to our energy flow really make up our emotional states. So if someone's in a low energy inside, we see them as being sad or depressed or down. And if we see them in high energy, but that high energy is focused inward, they're anxious, angry, frustrated, irritated. In the same way, if that energy is low but out now, then we see them as calm, peaceful, relaxed. And if the energy is high but flowing outward, excited and happy or up. So we can almost summarize that all of our emotional experiences can be divided into two categories, either positive feelings or negative feelings. And what characterizes those positive feelings or negative feelings is flow. When my energy is flowing outward, I'm feeling good. Maybe not super energetic, I may be feeling calm, but I'm feeling good. And when my energy collapses inward, those are when I'm feeling negative, unhappy. So how do we answer the question, what are emotions? Well, I think it's pretty obvious now. Emotions are energy in motion. Either high or low, in or out, all define emotion. So the simplest way to say it is emotions are motion. A pneumatic device to help you remember. Now for how. How do we control our energy? If emotions are energy in motion, how do we control that energy? Well, let's answer another basic question. What is happiness? Happiness is the kind of the gold standard, the thing we're all shooting for, we're all striving for. What is it? How is it? How do we achieve it? Well, I believe that happiness is not a single feeling. It's not an emotion, not just one emotion. But happiness instead is a state of being, a state of well-being. When all the parts of myself are working well together, I'm in a state of well-being. And when all my parts are working well together, all the parts of self are working well together, I'm in a state of flow. So that's my ultimate drive or desire, is to get into that state of well-being and into that state of flow. And here's how we're going to do it. To understand how to get all these parts working well together or flowing together, I have to understand first, what are the four parts of self? Well, four parts of self are easy: mind, body, emotion, and consciousness. These four parts make up who I am. And by learning to control these four parts, I can control flow and energy. How do I do that? Well, the way I control these four parts is through what I call the four faculties. The four faculties are simple. The faculty of mind is thought. Thought controls my mind. The faculty of my body is my behaviors. What I do, how I act, controls and affects my body. The faculty of consciousness is attention. My attention will direct my consciousness. And as we've already learned, the faculty of emotion is energy. What I do with my energy controls my emotions. Now, what I love about this model is that it's integrative. It's not saying that what we know about psychology or any of the research we've done in psychology is off. It's absolutely totally on. It's totally correct. And what we do is we get to integrate all of it in this one model. So I'm using cognitive therapy. I'm using behavioral therapy to affect the body. I'm using mindfulness to affect and direct my consciousness. And I'm even using some of the energy work out there to help understand energy and moving my energy through my body. As we pointed out a moment ago, thoughts affect mind. Thoughts are the faculty of mind. And as we're looking at the thoughts to have, what is important to understand or realize is that my thoughts really don't affect flow. My thoughts will affect my arousal level, my energy level, and affect collapse, but won't affect flow that much. So I can think thoughts and say, oh crap, which gets me all excited, or It'll be fine, which helps me inhibit those negative energy levels. But it really doesn't create flow. But thoughts do create a foundation for flow. If my mind is set in a single intention or purpose, for example, I choose to be happy. If that's my single-minded intention, to be happy, then that's going to set a good foundation for me to move forward. Here we can see that the early work with flow, looking at challenge and skill level, is a good illustration of this. If my skill level is too low and I don't really know how to do something very well, what it does is it creates a double-mindedness. Half of me is thinking about how to do something, and the other half of me is thinking about doing it, and that creates a double-mindedness. Also, if my challenge isn't that great, I know how to do it, I have the skill, in fact, my skill level is so much higher than the challenge, then there's no excitement, there's no energy. And because there's no energy, there's no flow. The best thought is no thought. And what I mean by that is that when we are in a state of absolute focus on our purpose or intention, and our mind begins to just quiet because we are so focused, that's when we really start moving into flow, when our mind is still and quiet. Now, looking at the body, we again see that behaviors affect body. And like the mind, body doesn't really affect flow in the sense of producing it. It affects collapse and it affects our arousal levels, but doesn't really affect flow. So when I'm tense or stressed or relaxed, that will affect the energy level and affect collapse. The other thing that's really important about body is our body language. Our body language has to communicate our intent. Just like our mind has to be single-minded, our body also has to be in alignment with our intention, our mind. And when the two are together, they create a good foundation. So body language is the way my emotions are expressed through my physicality. Well, languages work both ways. So not only can my emotions be expressed through my body language, but I can also use body language to tell my emotions what I want, to tell my emotions what my intention is. So smiling, allowing myself to have good posture, shoulders back, back erect, head up, chin up, eyes up, all of those things set up a positive body language that supports and reinforces my positive intention. And the other part of that's really important is breath. Breathing is going to be a way of really creating good energy and also keeping the body relaxed. Not relaxed in the sense I'm lowering my energy level, but relaxed in the sense of I have ability to flow, energy to flow through me. If my body is tense, energy can't flow. But if my body's relaxed, energy can flow through me. And so it's important to have that relaxed. So what I want to do with my body to make sure the foundation for flow is there, actively involved in my intention or in purpose. I am smiling, my posture, my behaviors, my actions are actively engaging my intention. And I'm breathing. I'm breathing good, deep, strong breaths because that's going to give me the energy I need to create flow. Think about it this way. Almost as if there's two yous. There's the physical you, and then there's the subtle you, the subtle self. The physical you is something that we can look at. It's the mind, it's the body. We can touch that, measure that, cut it all in pieces. But then there's another part of you, which is the subtle you, the part that we really can't tangibly touch as well and measure and quantify. That's our consciousness and our emotions. And so we can almost think about it as there's a body base, the physical, and then there's the spirit or subtle self. And it's really in the subtle self, the second self, that flow occurs. That's where flow lives, in the energetic part of ourselves, which hopefully makes sense to you. That my body sets up the foundation. My body base has to be right. But on the body base, I build spirit. I build energy. And it's that energy that creates the flow. And that's going to happen through consciousness and through emotion, through the energy. So let's look at consciousness. What directs consciousness? What's the faculty that directs consciousness? It's attention. Attention is the key to flow for 3 reasons. 1, attention shifts our consciousness outside of ourselves. It shifts it away from the collapse of the body base. 2, attention, it makes connections. It is attention that makes connections with people, with the activities that we're doing, or even with the places that we're at. If I'm sitting in a room with somebody and I'm not paying attention to them and they're not paying attention to me, there's going to be no connection. But if I give them my complete attention and they give me their complete attention, then we're going to have a pretty complete connection because of that level of attention. Attention connects us. It's essential. Third thing that attention does is it directs flow. Where attention goes, energy flows. Energy and attention have this really cool symbiotic relationship, but it really depends on which one is dominant or which one's the strongest. If I have high energy levels and my attention is really not really there, I'm not really thinking about it, I'm not really conscious, then what's going to happen is that high energy is going to pull my attention inward. The energy is going to pull the attention. But if my consciousness is clear, I'm focused, I'm using my attention, then if that attention is strong, then it's going to draw and direct energy. So the two really work together. Now, last fundamental piece is emotions themselves. And as we've talked about before, emotions are energy in motion or emotion. Now, all energy is a fuel source. It's a driver. My car is driven by gas and stuff. But anyway, everything has a fuel, and it's our fuel that drives us. Well, the same thing is true with our emotions. Our emotions are drivers. Now, here's the problem. Negative emotions are the best drivers. They're the strongest drivers. And positive emotions are the weakest drivers, the poorest drivers. So anger, fear, hate, because of the nature of collapse, they build up energy inside of us. And they produce really great driving energy, driving force. Because also negative emotions are often stimulated by our external environment, they're constantly being put into us. So driving on the freeway, somebody cuts me off and bam, there's my negative energy. It didn't take much to produce it at all. But positive emotions like love, happiness, joy, because of their very nature of flow, they're always dissipating. The energy is always moving out of us, flowing through us, and always depleting. Because of the nature of that, we always have to stimulate it from within. We always have to bring that energy forward and always renew it and replenish it. And even if there's an environment where it's helping us create energy and excitement, because of the rule of hedonic adaptation, we adapt to it and we get used to it. And it really doesn't hold our attention. How come we don't have hedonic adaptation dealing with negative emotions? Why is it that guy cutting me off on the freeway? Why don't I ever get used to that? I never get used to that. But going to Disneyland, yeah, I've been there 5, 10, 15, 20, 1,000 times. I'm bored. So negative emotions need to be constantly rebuilt and driven. And that's where understanding the 4 faculties and using our 4 faculties to create these positive feelings and positive energy is essential, because it has to come from within. Our 4 faculties, in just really specific terms, are this: intention, attention, breath, and intensity. These are the 4 things that are going on in my mind and in my body constantly. I'm constantly keeping my attention focused on what I want to be happy. I'm constantly keeping my attention open to what I'm doing, to where I am, to what's happening around me. And I'm always breathing, always keeping my breaths deep and full and strong to keep the energy level flowing. Lastly, I do everything with intensity. It's that intensity that I bring to it that just adds that extra push, that extra zing. And that's what really helps in the flow and the balance. Now, to end this presentation, what I'd like to do is just spend a minute, or probably 3 minutes, going through an exercise where we use all these different ingredients, and you can actually help yourself create flow right now. So here's what I want you to do first. First off, I want you to really set your intention on being happy. Now, don't set a weak intention. I want to be happy. Set a strong intention. On a scale from 0 to 10, set your mind to an 8, to a 9. I want to really be happy. And set that really clear in your mind. This is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want. I want to be happy. Now use your breath. Allow yourself to breathe in and breathe out. And bring some intensity, some energy to that intention. And then match your body language to your intention. Allow yourself to smile as you think about that thought. I want to be happy. Allow yourself to sit up. Allow yourself to pull your shoulders back. Bringing in energy, bringing in intensity as you breathe. I want to feel good. I want to feel happy. I want to bring happiness into this moment right now, right here. Good. Feel it in your body. Now, bring your attention to this experience. And bring your attention not only on yourself, because we don't want to just collapse it on you. Bring your attention to where you are, to everything around you, to what's going on. If you're sitting down, feel the chair beneath you. Feel the air around you. Hear the sounds around you. Feel the energy around you. Be attentive to everything that's around you. And send your attention all the way out to the 4 corners in the room. No, more than that. To the 4 corners, to the ceiling, to the floor, to every aspect of the room. Fill that room with your attention. Good. Now bring intensity to it. Bring energy to it. To everything you're doing. Your intention, your breath, your attention. Bring intensity to it. Feel it with intense energy. Enjoy that feeling for a moment. You've created flow. You're in flow. And it feels good. Good job. Thank you very much for enjoying this presentation on flow. I look forward to any feedback that you can provide. Take care.